Hello, 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 and welcome another edition of Tuesday Q&A, live Q&A. So we're going to let everybody drift into their positions to watch this evening's episode. I want to remind everybody we are sponsored by Proline Balls, both softball, baseballs. You can utilize them in the hack attacks, the jugs machines. You can use them front toss, side toss. You can use them offensively, defensively. You want to make sure you use the promo code listed in the description below for your 15% discount. If they're good enough for college programs and major league athletes such as Bobby Witt Jr., they're good enough for you. Tonight, we are going to be talking. I just got back. My wife and I took a flight down to Texas. We went to see our grandchildren, Mavi Blue and Bo Diesel. And I watched Scout Day at the Lions Den in Porter, Texas. Was able to see, a whole bunch of really talented young men. Several stood out. That's like a factory for gritty athletes that have great work ethic, great skill set. Was able to speak with a bunch of college coaches as not only at the facility in Porter, but also had some dialogue with JUCO coaches, Division I, Division II head coaches, NAIA Division I, Division II coaches. So it was an interesting week, and I'm going to share with you some insight. And as many of you know, this is a live Q&A. So one, I encourage you to ask your questions. They are on the YouTube live. For those of you that don't happen to be on YouTube, if you want to see what the questions are that are being asked, please feel free to join us over on YouTube. If you are on YouTube, please do a couple things. One, engage with the video, hit the thumbs up a couple times, subscribe. It's free to subscribe to YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook or X, formerly known as Twitter, encourage you to go over to the YouTube page, Coach Beede, subscribe. Please subscribe, hit the video, and engage. Whenever you see me put my glasses on, I'm reading questions. And so I will get to your questions. I also want to let you know that I do not use cue cards. I do not use a teleprompter. That can lead to a few things. One, I might bounce around a little bit. So when I do, I apologize. Also, this is from the heart. I really don't have any axe to grind. I do want to start tonight's episode off by letting you know a few things. One, I get along with a lot of travel ball organizations, and I also get along with a lot of people that are in the recruiting space, recruiting service space. Not all are bad. We all have strengths. We all have weaknesses. We all make mistakes. We all try to help parents and student athletes. So I am not here to, as they say in today's world, throw shade at anybody, but I am going to get a little edgy tonight, and I just wanted to preface that by saying I'm not aiming this at anyone in particular, any group, any person, any people, and I want to get that right off the top. Before I dive into the questions, and one, I really appreciate when you send me questions during the week, and I've gotten a whole bunch, and I hear you loud and clear. And parents, we're talking about everything from how do we get financial aid over and above scholarship or merit money? How do we get in front of coaches if they don't get to come to our games or we don't go to any camps? I mean, there's a lot of questions. We're going to kind of, go through them a little bit tonight. But I want to encourage you. I had a couple questions this week on what is the value or what is the difference between field level and baseball blue book. And I want to let you know that the baseball blue book, first of all, is going to be for all sports, not just baseball and softball. That's one. It's been around for a long time, since 1909. It was a written book, and now it's new age with regard to the app and technology. A couple of things that coaches have talked to me about. One, they like the video aspect. With regard to the blue book. Also, it allows there to be a dialogue between teams and athletes coaches and college coaches, travel coaches, high school coaches, with college coaches. There's a lot of interaction going on with the Blue Book. If it's free, it's for me. My dad used to say that every single day, and now as I get into my 67th, 63rd, holy cow, 67, 63rd year of life, I kind of take that to heart as well. So go ahead and create your Blue Book profile. It's free, and it definitely is working with regard to the college coaches. Now, before I get to the questions, let me say hello to a few folks. Doug Adams. Okay, I'm going to say hello to the Clark State Community College Dirt Dogs. Now, I am really proud and happy to have coined that phrase. They're going to be getting some T-shirts. I'm going to be a proud owner, wearer of the Dirt Dog. And I had somebody ask me if that was a term of affinity, and you're gosh darn right, a dirt dog. If you don't know who Jerry Remy is or was, he passed away a few years ago. Jerry Remy was a second baseman, played for the California Angels, Boston Red Sox, and he loved Dirt Dog Nation. A dirt dog is somebody, man, they got the uniform covered. They don't really look to wipe the mud off or the clay off, and they're out there. They got mud on their face. They got sweat everywhere. Uniform's definitely dirty. They've been playing hard, aggressive, sliding, playing defense. The dirt dog just gets it done. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how I did it. I just got it done, period, end of story. And they play from pitch one until no more, until 27 outs are on the board. That's a dirt dog. So Clark State Community College, Ohio, Dirt Dogs. That's a fact, Jack. So hello, Coach Adams. And we'll be talking to Coach Adams this Thursday night, by the way. Mike, hello, Mike. Thank you for joining me. Keith, thank you very much. I hope Trace is having a good season. Jesus Flores. All right. I like that you've been following me for a while. So here's the deal. I want to get started, and I'm going to start tonight's topic off, and I'm going to direct it at athletes and parents. And this isn't a negative, so I really want to make sure I come out and preface that. I have talked to so many college coaches, and they are starting to become very, very laser focused on the realities. The genie not going back in the bottle. I think I've talked to more college coaches over the last few days, extremely knowledgeable coaches that are leaning strongly to when I talked about a few weeks ago about the draft going from 20 rounds. It used to be 40 rounds. Let's start all the way back like into the late 1980s, early 1990s. There were 60 rounds. And then it went to 40. And then post-COVID, it went to 20. And there is a strong push afoot to get it cut to 10. So what does that mean? Parents and athletes, you keep thinking this is temporary. We went through the COVID times. We went through the roster expansion and then the roster reduction. And that ultimately everything will kind of work itself through. The number one thing to understand is I'm not here trying to tell you the sky is falling. I'm not here to tell you that it's the college coach's fault. I'm not here to tell you your high school coach stinks. In fact, I'm here to tell you quite the opposite. Your high school coach, your travel coach, your college coach. We don't want to begin to play the pass the blame game. The blame game is overrated. The reality is that 2027, 2028, we're going to go from 20 to 10. And what does that mean? That means there's going to be less athletes departing either high school and or college to go play professional baseball, meaning college baseball players are going to play longer in and through their senior years. And that also means that more talent is going to make its way to college, not just Division I, but all of college baseball. And every college coach, to a man, says the same thing. All of college is lifting up the quality of play, the caliber of player. It used to be something very, very different than it is becoming now. And that has to do with the definitive number of roster spots. Now, I say that at the varsity level, keeping things in perspective. Some schools at the NAI level, the JUCO level, possibly Division 3 or 2 at the NCAA level may have developmental teams. But I think it's time for all of us in the room to really begin to share with families that, and this is a source of frustration because I've talked to a lot of parents. And the pushback is, well, if they're not going to do something, we're going to do something. Well, that might work to some degree with regard to travel ball or high school ball, going in to talk to athletic directors, maybe not getting quite the answer you want from your travel ball coach and going to a different team. And then we start all the yip, 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 yip. Well, that's not going to work in college. It hasn't really worked before. It's definitely not going to work now. And when I say it's a big boy world, I mean it is a business. And the rising tide that is coming from the new CBA is going to lift all of college baseball. Wherever there will be roster spots and playing opportunity, the athletes will find those nooks and crannies. And I think it is important. I'll get it. For parents to understand that draft is happening at Division 3, Division 2, Division 1 of the NAIA. Excuse me, the NCAA is happening at Division 1, Division 2, NAIA. But I will tell you point blank, JUCO baseball is about to hit, as Star Trek used to say, going to Scotty in the engine room. It's going to hit like Mach 4 and Mach 5. JUCO baseball is about to go to an entirely different level. Whatever you thought JUCO baseball used to be at the NJCAA Division 1, 2, and 3, as well as California JUCO, which is always a different animal, it's going to a much higher level beginning in 2027. And the realities is that the business across the board, professionally in college, is changing. The Major League Players Association, all the things that people tell me, Walter, you don't even know what you're talking about. That's all pie in the sky. Good luck. That's never going to happen. I'm not making this stuff up. I try to convey through the relationships and the conversations and try to share that with parents. So all of this to say to you, when I do these events on Tuesday, I'm simply trying to get out in front of something and share with parents and obviously student athletes. Now, another topic that I find to be concerning, and that is I have a lot of athletes and parents that are wanting to push back on this gap year, post-grad year. These topics I've been talking about, by the way, for 3 years, 4 years, in some way, shape, or form. I'm not just pulling these things out of the sky. And I also want to let you know that I have a lot of experience in this particular facet of the world. Now, I live in the Northeast. So those of you that are in the Southeast, the Southwest, the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest, or even Canada that do not have a firm understanding of the real postgraduate prep school, boarding school experience that runs from basically Virginia all the way up and through New England, all the way up and through Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, et cetera. It's been around for a very, very long time. But I am going to tell you something right now. When I'm working with families, I don't derive anything financially. I don't derive anything professionally. I don't get a merit badge that I put on a sash. I'm trying to tell you the jump from high school baseball to college is the Grand Canyon with regard to mental, physical, etc. And so if you are young and you are, kind of looking at college as an 18-year-old turning 19, all the college athletes we know, they're older. We also know that the college coaches, the networks, television wise, social media wise, they want the game to be cleaner. They want the game to be better. They want the game to be stronger. And so, this is not pushing a narrative to be able to say to parents, reclass your athletes right away. No, I'm not saying that. It's also not saying spend every dime you have to go to a post-grad school. No, I'm not saying that. But don't talk about how you are looking for academics as well as athletics. And then when you get the opportunity to attend some of these schools that are academically really strong, I'm not going to use the word superior. I'm just going to say really strong. If you are looking to trade athletic ability for academic excellence, if that's part of your, narrative of college, and then you say, well, I'm not going to go that way because I just don't think they're good in baseball. See you later. If you're just going to dismiss a college program because, their record last year stunk. Well, what about next year? What if there's a different coach? What if there's new athletes? Because now college baseball, particularly, whatever they were last year, whoever they were last year, doesn't necessarily mean that's who they're going to be next year. And I can promise you something. The bigger narrative that I'm going to talk about tonight is this. It's football season. I get it. We're not in baseball season. But every year, come April or May, coaches get fired, athletes are transferring. It's almost like really honest to goodness, at all levels. Coaches are fired, athletes are asked to leave. It's all transitional. It's all transactional. I mean, everything's a transaction. We're not winning enough, fire the coach. We're not winning enough, move the players. But there are coaches, there are programs, Doug Adams being one, that I talked to last week. There are coaches that are telling parents exactly what they need to hear. Here's the metrics. If you don't meet these metrics, chances are you're not getting on the field. I want to hear that from coaches. Hey, man, if you're an outfielder and you don't run a sub-7, probably not going to get between the lines as an outfielder, maybe as a DH. Hey, man, if you're a middle infielder and you're not running a sub-6-8, probably not going to get into the middle of the diamond. You might have to go to the corner. Hey, man, if you're going to be a corner position player, you better be able to hit some home runs. Like, these are the factual realities of college athletics that coaches now are starting to come out and say, this is what gets you between the lines. Now, this weekend, I spent some time talking to college coaches. And I believe it was maybe a few months ago, I started going off on base running, and I must have got like 4 or 5 people, base running, blah, blah, blah. All they care about is velocity and exit. No. One of the micro points of high school and travel athletics that is going to start to get more in focus is base running, because I have talked to so many college coaches while we were discussing the World Series, secondary leads, leads less than 2 outs, balls behind base runners, picking up, being aggressive on the base pass. Base running is a tool, is a separator that's going to start to really get pushed in youth baseball. And it's something that doesn't necessarily require elite foot speed, but it does require elite instincts. So I wanted to be able to start tonight to be really aware of the realities, because I'm getting a lot of pushback from parents, and one thing that I want to make crystal clear, NAIA baseball and JUCO baseball they've already started to go boom, but they're about to go subsonic, really big time boom. And if you think you're going to go from high school baseball and roll into JUCO or roll into NAIA, it's just not going to happen. And so your point of emphasis from today forward as a high school athlete should be on size, strength, skill, speed, grades, all of those things, because you're going to need them regardless of the level, regardless of the division. Now I'm going to answer a few questions. Let's see. Coach Adams. Well, we're going to have Coach Adams is going to join us this Thursday. And I promise you, I've been doing this for a long time. If you're a parent, you want to watch Coach Adams drop some absolute truth bombs, and he's dropping them at the high, from heights that have yet to be dropped. So it's going to be worth watching. Hey, Matt, okay, 2027, is it best to keep head down and get after it in the weight room and cages, or is there value in attending a winter prospect camp? 2027, I wouldn't attend winter prospect camps. And Matt, I'm going to be talking kind of semi directly at you when I move this forward, so bear that in mind, and I don't mean anything negative when I say that. Bread drop. Okay, hey, bread drop. Never seen that question. JUCO baseball in Florida right now is very competitive. Yeah, I will tell you right now, JUCO baseball, particularly in Florida, down south, Mississippi, Texas, Blinn, San Jack, Weatherford, Chipola, Pensacola, all of those big time JUCO programs, all the way up here through Northern Essex, which is Division III, dudes, just straight up dudes. Like I will tell you, JUCO baseball has a lot of really high level baseball players. It is not a linear path from high school to JUCO. It is in no way, shape, or form. If you're not prepared to compete with big boys with big time talent, JUCO and NAIA, it's not just a simple transition. I promise you that. Grand Canyon is a very apt description. I happen to think so, Coach, but many do not. Student first in terms of student athlete, you have to qualify. Tallahassee State. Thank you, Coach. So student athlete, I had a great conversation today with an ACC school, head coach, ACC school. And one of his interesting points that he made to me was that grades often tell the tale of who the athlete is, meaning what type of priorities, what type of focal points, what type of work ethic, what type of what do they think of themselves? In other words, I always use the term, and I've said it repeatedly on here, with my boys as a dad, to me, a C student always meant you're the best of the worst and the worst of the best. Meaning you don't do anything great, but you also don't do anything terrible, and you're kind of here. And so what I want you to understand is if you're trending forward, that's always going to be great. If you're trending on a flat line or you're trending down, that's not really great. So if you're starting out in the 8th, 9th grade, and you got A's and B's, and then you're going to B's and then B's and C's, that's not a good story. And so you really need to begin to look at this approach in a 4 or 5 year increment. And that's really what should be out in the forefront. Now, I want to say something with regard to recruiting service. Now, I'm just going to say this. When you as a parent come out and say, my son was the best player at a camp, that's your opinion. Doesn't mean it's a fact. When you go to these college camps, you're not necessarily facing college caliber players. Now, it's important to understand that. Now, NAIA, you can hop in the middle of a practice, much different than NCAA. But when you go to an NCAA college camp, Division I, Division II, Division III, you're competing with other high school athletes. And they are not indicative of the talent or the caliber of talent that you're playing in college. So when you're going into these schools and you're in these camps and you say, well, my son was the best, he was the most talented player. How can they not be recruiting this, my son? This is a great student athlete. It's insulting to a college coach. That's one. Two, if a college coach is looking at your son, he happens to be a senior in high school, and let's use today As a 2026, he's going to graduate. You're a student athlete. Softball, baseball is going to graduate in 26. And a college coach says to you, well, as a 2027 IDOF, that's a no-brainer. I'll bring that student athlete in. And you want to say, no, thank you, I'll pass. I got a tough time with that, particularly if it's a Division I school. If you want a Johnny Big League, a college coach, all the power to you. But those stories don't end well. Now, if you are going to kind of walk past that and you don't want to develop a true game plan, you're essentially waving a flag saying, I think I'm better than what the coach is telling me that I am, and I'm just going to go run full speed, 100 miles an hour into that wall. Parents and student athletes, today is November 4th, 2025. In less than 26 days from today. I don't know how many students per 300 plus Division I teams are going to be told there's no room at the end, but let's just say it's 3 per school, so that's 900. It's going to be more than that, and they're going to start falling out of the sky, and they're going to hit the portal in the middle of the year, and they're going to start knocking on doors. And guess where they're going to knock? They're going to knock on JUCO. They're going to knock on Division III, NCAA Division III and Division II. They're going to knock on NAIA doors. So all those people that are tucked in safely and they think, oh, I got a roster spot, I'm all set, I'm going to play. Oh, not so fast, as Lee Corso said so well. You might get, the fallbacks. They're coming. And so my point of saying this to you is, this is the first year, 2025 is the first year of the Division I roster cap, creating higher than normal fallbacks. And they're going to be, I think, well over 1,000. There's lots of apps and technology that will tell you how many. But are you factoring that in as a 2026? I don't think you are. Are you factoring that in as a 2027? I don't think a lot of you are. And so here is the crux of my point for tonight is there's a lot of people that want to make money on the backs of pain points for parents, pain points for athletes. And then there's a lot of people that try to help you create a better plan, help you choose a better path. Now, it might not be the path that you like. It might not be the path that you prefer, but it might be the best path for your particular student athlete. They don't ask you how, they just ask you how many, as in how many at-bats, how many innings pitched. And what you need to understand, and I've said this repeatedly over the last 2 to 3 weeks, you're a parent, you're a student athlete. You're looking around and you're looking on social media, who committed, who's decommitting due to unforeseen circumstances. Well, I'm trying to help you see the circumstances. And then you say, well, my Jimmy is better than that Johnny. Well, my Jimmy, that's not going to affect my Jimmy. I'm really good. The number one thing to understand is our high school athletes are being compared to the older current college athletes. But it's not just the physical. It's the mental durability. It's the mentally prepared. It's the mentally conditioned older athletes that are not stressing about your Jimmy coming in to compete for their spot. They're not stressing over being ready when their opportunity occurs or happens because they're preparing for it as a current college student. And they know that wherever their feet are today, that if they're getting reps and they're getting innings, they're getting better. And if they're getting those things, there's synergy video that college coaches can pull up and take a look at. So as a high school athlete, you need to understand. And you, as a family, you need to, there is no bad guy. College coaches aren't over recruiting. High school coaches aren't purposely sitting on the sidelines, not helping your athlete. These things are situations that you need to be proactive with as parents. And we keep hearing over and over and over from families of 27s, 28s, and in some cases 29s. Exposure. I need to get exposure. We need to get out for exposure. No, you are going to get exposed. And so this narrative of you are going to forge forward because somebody is telling you that you're really good and you don't need to do this, or you don't need to go there, or you don't need to do a post grad or a gap year. You don't need to go from 176. I had somebody tell me, well, my son has a major league swing from the right side, and he's being scouted. So therefore, if he's being scouted, I think he should be able to get a college scholarship. Your son is 6'1". He runs a 7'1", and he's 172. That's not going to get it done. And who's ever telling you that they're going to get drafted? If he's hitting a lot of home runs, and he's going to hit 400 at Division I college, whether it's Division I NCAA, JUCO, or NAIA, that's possible. Okay. Jay Bird, how are you, sir? Tallahassee State. Now, I'm going to end tonight and I'm answering questions also, by the way. And sometimes on occasion, I will have to look into the world of X that I get sent a lot of questions. The last thing I want to be able to tell parents is this. It used to be the narrative would be that if your student athlete really had a strong desire to play college baseball out of high school, that somewhere there would be a fit. And while that may be true, the number one thing to begin to understand is there may be a fit, but it may not be where you're looking for it to be a fit, meaning in your backyard or general geographical area. And so on that topic, when I'm speaking with coaches like Doug Adams at Clark State, when I'm talking to coaches from whether it be Nebraska or the West Coast or Florida or Georgia or New England or Massachusetts, you might be on the other side of the country. And yes, it takes a tremendous leap. I've had sons that were born and raised in Massachusetts, went to schools in Louisiana and Tennessee, and now reside in Texas. At some point, there needs to be an understanding of what you want and how you would like it to happen may not be the case, and you may have to go outside your comfort zone. And you, as a family, and more importantly, as a student athlete, need to understand the importance of being comfortable in an uncomfortable environment. There's a lot of great books and a lot of great authors that always talk about, doing little things that you may not be doing and reprogramming and reconditioning your mind and your daily routines. Well, that applies for college recruiting. You may be a student from the Northeast and you may not want to go to the West Coast, or you may not want to go to the Southeast or Southwest, but there may be opportunities that exist for you there, depending upon your position. You may not want to do a gap year or post-grad year. I have one young man going to the University of Pennsylvania, 2025 high school graduate from Florida, and he's just simply doing a gap year, meaning he's in the weight room, he's preparing, he's taking some online classes, and he's preparing to go to UPenn in that capacity. I have another young man from Texas. He's doing a post-grad year at Phillips Exeter. Next year, he's going to be going to Holy Cross. Every young man doesn't wake up when they're an 8th, 9th, or 10th grader, or even in 11th grade as a junior and say, boy, oh boy, I can't wait to move away from home, or I can't wait to take that gap year before I go to college. But if that's what it takes, nobody asks you how you got there. They just want to know that you're there. The other important factor is every scout I talked to. Now, I spoke at length with LSUE, Louisiana State University, Eunice, one of the best coaching staffs in the country. 5 years ago, they would get on average, they would get athletes that would be in the cusp of becoming a Division One player. They were basically in the 87, 91 window as pitchers. This year in fall ball, they had, I'm going to approximately 20 pitchers on their rosters, and 19 of them were 91 to 94. So let that sink in for a second. Most of their position players are running a sub 6.8 60. They're now getting athletes from Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. They're getting athletes that are trying to get on the field earlier, and they're a much higher caliber athlete. And the reason why that's happening at the JUCO and the NAIA level is because of synergy video. And college coaches know that young man's got college at bat. They're different than high school at bats. They're different than travel ball at bats. They're consistent against higher level, stronger level competition. Synergy video, college innings, college experience, both in the summer and in the conventional playing seasons of the spring. That is what you have to seek. That is what you have to find. When a college coach of any caliber, any level is contacting you, listen to them. Write, take notes, create a journal. Try to visit the school, try to see them practice. It's very, very important. Sarah, thank you. Solid information. Thank you. Great. 6-7. Okay, that's great. Doesn't matter where you go, matters what you do once you get there. Absolutely. Great baseball at all levels of college right now. Can't believe that. My Mr. Miami Hurricanes, what's going on with your quarterback, Captain? I want to know that question. I want to simply end tonight by saying this. You've heard me talk and you've heard me discuss, baseball at the college level getting better. One of the things that is starting to be really getting loud, the message is getting louder and louder, and that is there are changes definitively coming to the collective bargaining agreement at the major league level, and it is going to have an impact, and a critical impact to college baseball. And the sooner that we prepare for that, or you prepare for that, as families and as athletes, the smoother your transition will become. The sky isn't falling. It's nobody's fault. I know you can be angry. We can look at this one of two ways. One, it's definitively happening. This isn't my opinion. This isn't something I'm pulling from the sky. There are changes coming. That's just a fact. When I hear Division I coaches, NCAA seasoned, tenured coaches speaking in an authoritative tone about things that are coming through the collective bargaining agreement and the changes that they're discussing. These things aren't meant to scare you, they're meant to inform you. Now, others can disagree with me. Others can say, oh, he's just barking. I'm not barking. And that's fine. And you as parents can choose to listen and take control or be proactive, or you can just tell me I'm just full of hot air. It doesn't matter to me either way. But the thing that I want you to understand is these college coaches are making their changes to their rosters, and that all begins from the top down coming this December 1st. It's new, it's different, it's going to happen. And when that happens and all the dominoes begin to fall back, you're going to see more people decommitting. You're going to see more people trying to find homes. And I'm just trying to let you know, as families, you need to be informed, you need to be proactive, and you need to have a plan. That plan can change over the course of the next 10 months, 18 months, even heck, 24 months out. But you should begin to create a game plan. This world of postgraduate / gap year, it's not new. Now, there are people that are going to take advantage of that from a business perspective. Where there is demand, There will always be new supply. But bear in mind that there are schools, there are programs that have been around for centuries that have been doing it for a very, very long time. And if you are taking an academic approach, meaning you're looking to attend college and you're looking for it to become as affordable as possible, then you need to be looking at this as trading athletic ability for academic excellence. And when the fifth year becomes part of this process, which I believe it will, when, I'm not sure, but I believe that it will at the NAI level fairly soon and possibly at NCAA Division II fairly soon. And when that happens, there'll be more athletes being forced into college baseball due to the draft. There'll be athletes that'll be staying longer for a myriad of reasons. And at the end of the day, the strongest will play, period. That's just the way that it will go. So this week, I want to let everybody know on Thursday, I will be talking with Coach Doug Adams at Clark State. I promise you, you will want to watch that. Even if you have zero interest in JUCO baseball in Ohio, you will want to listen to the head dirt dog of the Clark State baseball program, because he brings a game with an exclamation point that I think every parent and every student athlete will benefit from. I also will let you know that we're going to be talking with Coach Brett Wallace at Cal Berkeley, former Arizona State All-American, San Diego Padre, Houston Astro. Also going to be talking with Chris Pollard, the new head coach at UVA in Charlottesville, who I consider to be one of the true icons of college baseball, formerly of Appalachian State, then Duke for 13 years, and now in his first year at UVA. Let's see. I want to say, Mark, thank you very much for joining me. Scott, I already see you communicating with Coach Adams. I also want to let you know these coaches do watch these programs. I was talking to a few college coaches this weekend in Texas. I'm very honored that I have the college coaches. And in fact, I'll have college coaches that will send me DMs or text messages after our Tuesday talks, and they'll add or say, I wish you would have done this or wish I would have done that. I kind of hold back a little bit because oftentimes when I'm talking, some parents think I'm trying to be negative or I'm talking about them or attacking them, and I am not. Ultimately, at the end of the day, your child, your family, your decisions, period. I don't win or lose either way. I've already gone through that as a dad. But what I will tell you is I do take pride in one facet of this whole. I love baseball. There's not a human breathing that loves the game more than me. Was I the best? I was definitely not the best. Was I the best coach? Definitely not the best coach. Do I make mistakes? You better believe I've made a ton as a dad, as a college coach. I continue to make mistakes. I ask for forgiveness. I try to learn, and then I try to share what I've learned. But I will tell you this, the game of baseball, there's no better sport, in my opinion. I can watch World Series, College World Series, Major League World Series, Mexican World Series. I can watch them all. I love baseball. I love baseball played at a certain level with skill and precision. And there are always going to be those Monday morning quarterbacks. But baseball will always be one of the most difficult sports to play, most difficult sports to coach. It's a game of failure. It's a game of decisions. And those of us that are informed can become better instinctually and better prepared. And the better your preparation, the better your instincts, the better your instincts, the better you play. So this Thursday, Coach Doug Adams, Clark State, will be joining me. I encourage you to watch. Please continue to send your questions in each and every week. I am going to be doing segments where I do a short or short-term, short version of a video where I'm answering the questions specifically. I hope that you will take the time to go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. Please spread the word. please try to get 2 people during the course of the week to become subscribers if they like baseball or softball or athletics. Subscribing is free. It's absolutely free. And just engaging with this video. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, go to Coach Beede over on YouTube, look for the live video, hit the thumbs up, ask a question, say hello, just engage. That will really, really help us grow this community over the next, 3 months or 2 months, as well as into 2026. So join me on Thursday with Coach Adams. Scott, thank you very, very much. I know that Mr. French is watching. I know there's a lot of people that are watching that I don't get a chance to say hello to, but thank you. 45 minutes again. Karen will be very happy. It's under an hour, and I did it. So I appreciate it. And next week, we're going to have a special guest. They call him the Tiger, Matt Tyner at Townsend. He's going to join us to answer your questions, and we're going to talk college baseball with one of the best. And when I say coach, he's the epitome of coach. Until Thursday, have a great week in school. I look forward to talking with everyone live next Tuesday.